Hey, this is just a trial to see if this actually works for me on X. But I'm a former Ukrainian missionary. My wife and I lived in Kyiv for 7 years. And sometimes when I hear my friends on YouTube who are trying to pronounce Ukrainian cities and Ukrainian words, uh, makes me kind of batshit. But I don't mean to be a language snob or a language Nazi, but I thought I could give some help because there are some significant differences between Slavic languages and English or Spanish for that matter, although there are similarities. And so I thought I'd just kind of like give you some hints. So if you're ready, let's just kind of walk through this. And this is not at all comprehensive. These are just some basic things that I think help. So this is for Russian and Ukrainian for English speakers primarily because that's my native language. I was born in Canada, grew up in California, and so I speak English. I can talk Southern, but predominantly I just speak a plain dialect of English. So let's see what we have to say. See what there is to see. Now you got to realize that Russian and Ukrainian are written in Cyrillic, and Cyrillic was written by a Greek Orthodox priest who lived in, I guess, what is now Bulgaria. And he basically took the Greek alphabet and he used that to create an alphabet for Slavic languages. Now, I don't know if he made it for Russian in the beginning or Old Slavic, but he found borrowing letters from Greek and making up a few of his own along the way. He was able to mimic all the sounds that are Russian or Ukrainian or Slavic. So there are some differences in that Poland uses the Latin alphabet for their language. I'm not sure about Czech people, but I know Bulgarians also use the Cyrillic alphabet. But let's just take a look at some of this. So let's take a look at Cyrillic vowels. Now, I'm going to look at both kinds. I'm going to look at both Ukrainian and Russian. And the thing you have to understand is that much like Spanish, whose vowels are a, e, o, u, okay, Russian and Ukrainian vowels are similar. They have similar sounds. However, comma, both Russian and Ukrainian, and I can't speak Bulgarian, I don't know, they have both a hard form and a soft form. And with Ukrainian, for the most part, a lot of letters are always pronounced the same, much like they are in Spanish. Whereas in Russian, certain words are only pronounced a certain way, certain letters, certain vowels are pronounced a certain way only if they are the stressed syllable. And as a general rule, there is only one vowel per syllable. So sometimes you can have a bunch of vowels bound up because they're meant to be actually three separate syllables. But we're not going to worry about that. What I'm really trying to do is get you to say, when you look at that you're not saying things like Kharkiv, all right, or Kiev, because that's, by the way, that's the Russian. And so that's my hope, is to help you. And that you'll say oblast instead of oblast. Okay, so let's take a walk through this. Now, these are Ukrainian vowels. They come in two forms. Now, I've displayed them as full case and small case, which are some are similar, some are just diminutive from the large, like O and U, and we'll get to that. So they come in a hard form and a soft form. So hard form is ah, not ah, not a, ah, and then soft form is ya, which, by the way, happens to be the last letter of the Cyrillic alphabet. And then in Ukrainian, we have eh, right? The E is a sound, and yeah for the soft eh. Then we have E, or E, and ye. All right, with the umlaut over the top of it, that is ye, just like we have in the word key. In Ukrainian, there is only, as far as I can find, and I'm not a Ukrainian expert, there is only a soft or hard form of the O, which is O. There is no yo like there is in Russian. Then we see U and U. Now, when you see this Y looking thing in Ukrainian, and same for Russian, it means U. Now, sometimes you'll see it when it's transliterated into English as the letter U, but it's pronounced U, not No, there are no soft uhs like in but. Okay? It's U. Got me? Okay. The last one here is U. And it's kind of a weird sound. And in Ukrainian, it's U, and Russian is E, but it's another interesting sound that makes Slavic languages interesting. But the second one, the one on the right, is what they call ikratka. And generally, how it's used is to get the y sound like we have in you, the beginning of you. And sometimes they'll throw it at the end of words, like in Sergei, or sometimes they'll put it at the front, like Yehovah. All right? Are you ready? Well, let's go on to some Russian. Now, Russian vowels are a and ya, e, and ye. I know this difference between Ukrainian for me, like trying to study both languages, it's crazy. The next letter we have U and E. Now, who's hard and who's soft at this point? Anybody's guess. But E, it's kind of like the sound like if you put a pencil between your teeth and you try to say E. Then we have O, and this one Yo. Now, if you've ever read any Russian, they don't always use the umlauts over the Yo. Sometimes it's you just happen to know that that's that sound because you're well practiced. And part of it is on the keyboard, it's way the heck up there. It's the tilde symbol right next to the one. It's way up there, or the accent mark, depending on where your keyboard is. All right. Then we have U and U, just like we did in Ukrainian. And finally, I kratka, or short E, which is the Y sound. And that's it. I'm not going to belabor this anymore. I want to keep this as short as possible. So, we're being difficult, aren't we? So Cyrillic letters transliterated. Now that means when you take a word from a language and you try to put it in your language. So transliterated into English. And we're going to take a look at some of those. Well, here's the Cyrillic on the left-hand column. And on the right-hand column, the letters that they use, English letters or Latin letters, that we use to represent that. So the first one, this thing that looks like an asterisk, is Z. Now, the way that sound is made is like you put your teeth together and you go Z. So zapa ri ri ja. All right, Z. That's so you see that ZH is not a Z. Z is underneath. This weird thing in that looks like a 3, that's a Russian Z. The next two are unusual, and to tell you the truth, I never learned the nuance between these two. But you have sh, and you have sh. And I'm about to have a visitor. Let me pause. Okay. Now, the second word or sound, consonant, is uh, is basically sh if in Russian and maybe sh in Ukrainian. And to tell you the truth, I can't tell the nuance. My Russian tutor said that the one without the tail is sh, and the one with the tail is sh. Do with it what you will. The next one is, I have to push the right thing, the CH sound, ch. And so it looks like an upside down chair, but that's their ch. And the last one is what causes I found, a lot of difficulty, is the high. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. All right. Now, this is just like chi or high in Greek. It's or like the CH in Bach. It's a kind of sound. And so when you see the KH, I saw a lot of people on YouTube, they're calling it Kharkiv and Kherson, and it's like, well, no, it's Kharkiv and Kherson. And I just wanted to put that out there because, you know, I think it's important that you pronounce somebody's language the best you can. Now, what's kind of funny, as looking at the X, is that Ukrainians don't call Texas Texas; they call it Tehas, and uh, and that's just how it is. Now, there's also one other. I kind of put this in the last second. It's set. It's basically a T followed by an S, just like the word Tsar, or in Ukrainian, Russian, center. Right? We don't hear the T so well, but it's there. And I tell you the truth, set and set sound the same to me, but they're different words because of that nuance of an S, which what looks like a C to us, or a TS that's as we're seeing on the screen right now highlighted. So what else we have? Ukrainian names and their pronunciation. Now, I didn't go through all of them. There's a lot of them, but here's some that have bothered me as I've heard people pronounce them. Well, Kiev, it used to be Kiev. That was the Russian spelling, Kiev. Now this is the accepted international spelling, Kiev, and it's made with the E with the umlaut over top of it. Lviv. Now excuse me, I bumped the wrong button. Lviv, in Ukrainian, there's a asterisk that falls, not asterisk, apostrophe that falls the, so there's kind of a pause. So Kiev, Lviv, and now here's an example of that Z sound, Zaporizhzhia. Now some people call it the Transcarpathian region. It's kind of between Romania in the Carpathian Mountains. There's actually a lot of Romanians that live there, people who speak a very interesting dialect of kind of like Hungarian, Romanian, and Ukrainian. And it's just, and they are unique and nobody else in Ukraine can understand them. That's back in the far southwest of Ukraine. Then there's Odessa. I'm pushing the wrong buttons again. Don't mind me. And now, if you're speaking it in Russian, it's Odessa. That's a yeah. So Odessa. But if you're speaking in Ukrainian, Odessa. It's a solid O. Next one I heard somebody try to pronounce the other day, they tripped over, and telling the truth, me too. I trip over this one. Dnipropetrovsk. Right? So when they put these consonants together, like DN, which is for us, we're like, huh? You just kind of start the D and you go right into N. So Dnipro, Patrovsk, Patrovsk. Okay? And I think I spelled that right. I didn't check my spelling, but you just have to deal with that. And there's my buddy Kharkiv. And Kharkiv is Kharkiv, not Kharkiv, Kharkiv. And here's another one I hear pronounced incorrectly. I have friends there. I still stay in touch with somebody I support as a pastor of a small church, is Chernihiv. Now, I learned it in Russian, which is Chernigiv, but it's still Chernigiv. All right, Chernihiv, not Chernihiv, Chernigiv. And finally, as you've heard before, Kherson. And Kherson being down south where the Russians ran away and turned the city back over to the Ukrainians. And that's all I wanted to say. I had a couple of interruptions because I'm doing this at my day job. But I just wanted to not to shame anybody, not to wag my finger at anybody, but just as a little help when it comes to saying Russian words in Ukrainian cities so that maybe you can honor the people who live there by pronouncing their name correctly. This is Pastor Allen signing off. Have a great day. See you later.